Nova Scotia out on the lake, and I just figured I'd call in and give you guys a quick update on all the cool things that are happening here at Stargaze Nova Scotia and on the Learn to Stargaze YouTube channel. And yeah, so just thought it'd be interesting to come out here on the boat. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me, because I'd be super curious, or it'd be super horrible if you guys actually can't hear me, because sometimes these wireless mics are a little funny. So we've got Heather, my new publishing assistant, behind the camera, and she is directing this video, sitting reverse in the canoe with her feet on the camera tripod, and is actually actively paddling. And I assume checking the comments at the same time, which is pretty impressive. So some of the neighbors' dogs are barking here, but I think you should be able to hear me okay. So as soon as I get a first comment that says that you can hear me, I'll just start talking about updates. Other than that, it is super relaxing out here. We've got some light cloud, which is supposed to go away toward the end of the day, I believe. And then the weekend should be absolutely fantastic for stargazing. We've got a thumbs up. That's good enough for me. Okay. Yeah, so I know it's early in the morning for a lot of folks, and this was a completely unplanned live stream. But such is my life. Unplanned seems to be a theme these days for a lot of people, me included. But you can't really complain when you're out on a canoe on your lake. And I'm sure Heather did not expect to be doing this when she started her first week on the job. And so if I turn this way a little bit, we're reaching the edge of Stargaze property. So that is the end of Stargaze Nova Scotia here. At least one of these rocks represents the property line. I was unable to find the survey pin, so who knows. But anyway, there's a little canyon right here that goes all the way to the pond, and that's the back property line. And so I would love to purchase this property. It's currently owned by the neighboring property. It's currently owned by a Swiss investor, but we need to grow the channel first. Maybe when I hit 500,000 subscribers like Trevor Jones, we can pick up the back 40 here. And because the idea is we need to protect it. We need to make sure that, a developer or a campground doesn't buy it, which would hypothetically light up the sky and would make using the observatory a whole lot less fun. All right. So yeah, in terms of the observatory, things are going well. So we're still using this Gemini mount. We didn't end up upgrading to the Celestron, except, lay down. So in the fall we had it working, and then when we turned it on this spring for the first time, the mount thinks it's in the southern hemisphere, and we haven't been able to find the setting in the software, in the SciTech software, to go flip it back. So if anyone knows SciTech software, the SciTech motor controller, which is about 20 years old, let me know in the comments where that setting is to go flip it, because we lost an entire night of observing just because the mount was tracking in the wrong direction. And yeah, who knows? Maybe the motors are on backwards. The gremlins came over Christmas break and switched the motors. I don't know. But we were able to do some great astrophotography. We had Anyeka who's a master's student at St. Mary's. He actually built his own AM5 mount from scratch, 3D printed it, and he's using it with a RASA, and he got just the most insane photo of the night sky. 2-hour exposure of some nebula I'd never heard of. Absolutely wild here, and that was last Saturday. And I was doing a series of 6-minute exposures, which will represent the images we need for our next stargazing guidebook, which is currently top secret. Nobody knows about it. I don't even think we know what it's going to be called. We've got some titles. We have a meeting with our agent tomorrow to see what he thinks about it. But you guys are going to love it. And so taking all the learnings from 110 things to see with a telescope and 50 things to see with binoculars, and doing probably what will become one of the best stargazing guidebooks, or at least the easiest to use of all time. So really excited about that. Any comments? Can anyone hear us? They can still hear us. That's good. Quiet bunch out there. Yeah. So what else is going on? We've got with Sourcebooks Publishing, because remember, I'm first and foremost, an author and astronomer, not necessarily a YouTuber. So we partnered with Cyan Proctor and we did Baby's Guide to the Night Sky, which is pretty interesting. And so we've got all the art for that in. That's with Sourcebooks Publishing, so hopefully that'll be out in October. And 50 Things to See with Binoculars. That is coming out on October 15th. So you can actually pre-order that now on Amazon. Looking forward to that. Seems like we have a comment.
Yeah, someone would like to know, do you ever plan on doing landscape photography?
Landscape photography. There are so many good landscape photographers here that I don't really want to step on their toes. So I'm an astronomer. I like space. I even like just looking at space. I don't need to take pictures. I need to take pictures because I write books about it and I like to have taken all my own pictures. But do I, that's not my thing. I'm more of a visual astronomer. In fact, my favorite type of astronomy is literally going out with no equipment at all and just looking at the night sky, looking at the northern lights, looking at a meteor shower, that sort of thing. But so to me, that's the absolute best type of astronomy to do. And the challenge there is you need dark skies, which is why we purchased Stargaze Nova Scotia, we're within city limits here, but we're surrounded by wilderness protected zones, wildlife protected zones from the Paggy's Cove Preservation Area, and they keep the area dark because almost 20 kilometers in every direction, there's almost nobody. And so as soon as you walk out of your car here, you can see the Milky Way rising out of the southern horizon, and it's just fantastic. Absolutely nuts in terms of what you can see. I don't know if that answered. Oh, landscape photography. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember her name. When we had the Northern Lights here, there were several photographers, and some of them do a mix of landscape and Northern Lights, and so they do classes here. Sometimes they do free online classes, and they do free in-person classes. And so we actually were in talks with someone who was thinking of doing a photography class at Stargaze Nova Scotia. And I asked if he would cover our insurance costs, and then I just didn't hear back. So, but ideally we would be using Stargaze Nova Scotia for that kind of thing, for people to come out and practice landscape photography. So that's definitely a thing that we'll be doing here for sure. I mean, we've got the landscape. I mean, you could have painting classes here. I mean, it's really beautiful out here. I'm dumbstruck by this view as we come along. There's a little river over here. Yeah, those colors are just so bright. It's like someone turned the vibrancy way up in Photoshop, except it's not Photoshop, it's reality. Yeah, I'm gonna go towards this river and there's a big beaver dam that we can go check out. I think every time I do a YouTube live on the lake, we go over and check out the beaver dam. And then it's about the end of the day. We're gonna call it here. Yeah, on Learn to Stargaze, the YouTube channel. We have been busy filming. We did 2 short videos today. We were gonna do a long, but it's a lot. It takes a lot out of you to film a short. We did one that was sort of the 10 things you might be doing wrong if you can't see anything through your telescope. And so we basically set up 7 or 8 telescopes and went through every possible scenario of what could be causing you trouble with your beginner telescope. So that was a really fun video. And then we went over my favorite telescopes for 2025. And so we went over those in a YouTube short. And so hopefully we'll edit those together within the next few weeks. But speaking of the next few weeks, in 2 weeks, I'm going down to LA to help with a space camp and with the Oxnard School District. So they hired me and a few other folks that you may know from YouTube. and just the world at large. I think we've got Emily Calandrelli going from Emily's Wonder Lab. We've got Cyan Proctor, Inspiration 4 astronaut. We've got Nicole Stott, Space Shuttle astronaut. We've got Leland Melvin, the astronaut that poses with his 2 dogs in his official NASA photos. Gosh, we've got Kevin De Bruin is actually running it. He's from JPL, and he is, you may know him from American Ninja Warrior. We've got Joan Meisner, who's popular on Instagram as a NASA employee, and Aaron, somebody, also popular on YouTube in terms of science communication. So that's just some of the people who are at this space camp, so it should be a lot of fun.
Another question, are you still using your Sea Star?
We use the Sea Star today, yeah. So Sea Star is a lot of fun, and that's something that we need to do a video about, because we would love to do, and I say we because Heather is a book publishing expert, and we would love to do a smart telescope book. And instead of me doing all the work, we'd love to engage, you know, the Learn to Stargaze community, get your stories and your photos. So like, what adventure did you go on with your Sea Star or other smart telescope? Because we're not going to particular to one brand or another. You know, tell me an adventure and then show us the photos with the smart telescope that you were able to get. And I think that'll be a really interesting project and to get you guys involved in. And I think we'll all have a lot of fun putting that together, and it'll be really cool to see everyone's photos in that book.
Yeah, same commenter said, yeah, I'd love that book. I'd buy it.
Oh, totally. That's what we're here for. So that's a project that we need to put together. That's, I think, coming up next in our pipeline. We do have a lot of projects, is an understatement, in our pipeline that we want to get done. Sorry, Stella. Prioritizing them is definitely the challenge, for sure. Okay, so that's books. What about videos? Yeah, videos. We've got SV Boney has produced a 127 millimeter Maxutov telescope. They're going to send that my way, and they want my feedback on it. So I'm not sure if that's available to the public yet. Someone would have to Google that. Obviously, I can't do much Googling right here. Heather's trying to avoid the rocks while canoeing backwards. Ooh! Okay.
Hey, we got over it on my side.
Okay, apparently I should be watching the rocks. This has never happened before because the lake it looks high, but it's low. Yep, never hit a rock there before. Okay, well I think that should be it. I'll keep an eye out.
I only saw the one.
It's okay. We have cell phone signal with our new cell phone tower that I use for aligning my telescope. Okay, that was exciting. All right, we're gonna go to the Beaver Dam, and then we're gonna turn around. Did you guys see us hit that rock there in YouTube land? They're like, it's fake, you're a green screen. No, there is a lot of green here. Okay. Should say the names, because I probably know. I like regular people that join these calls regularly. Who do we have on the call? We have Dave Chapman on the line.
Can't check, everybody.
Can't check.
If they drop a chat.
Yeah, drop your name in the chat. Let's see who's on. I think I could see some fish jumping over there. What happened to this beaver dam? Maybe it's right up here. So this river ends in a waterfall, which ends in the ocean. So we're not going to go that far.
Matthias Yelmuni says greetings from Argentina.
Nice, Matthias.
Says I definitely saw and heard it.
Heard us hit the rock, yep. Oh, good times. Ooh, okay. I see the beaver dam. And then it's going to be tight to turn around, but I think we can do it. We've done it many times before. Look at these colors. I hope the vibrancy and just the colors is coming through.
It looks neon green, which is exactly how it looks in real life.
Yeah, that's, oh, love this new iPhone, huh? Yep. A lot of frogs. So we've got the lily pads here, and as we canoe by, we have, oh, and we can hear them, if you heard that. Bullfrogs.
What are some good summer targets for stargazing, says Grunt Town.
Oh my gosh. Well, one, oh, whoa!
Oh.
Sorry, a big fish just jumped out of the water right behind you. Oh my gosh. That was freaky. Okay, sorry, fish. So there's Beaver Dam number 1. Pretty cool. Yeah, all right, so we're turning around. Apparently there's fish near the Beaver Dam. I think we scared them. That was, that shocked me. Okay, we got a bit of a breeze here that wants to flip the canoe around. I don't know any of these like J, what do you call it? The J paddle. That's a rock. Okay. We're gonna end up on Tosh show. It's gonna end poorly. All right. Oh, I can see all sorts of stuff underwater. All right. Well, as long as no one's recording this and
Just us.
it's just us.
So summer stargazing.
Summer stargazing targets. Okay, I avoid these rocks. Look at it. What is it? Okay, it stopped.
Oh, it's a frog. I can see it. It's a frog.
Oh, there he goes. He's a cutie.
For you guys. I don't know if they can hear me very well, but that's a frog.
He's over. I lost him. He was over there. Okay. Summer stargazing targets. Yeah, so you want to be hanging out near Sagittarius if you've got binoculars. That's sort of the busiest place. And you want dark skies because summer is nebula season. The planets aren't really conducive to observing right now. You know, Jupiter and, yeah, I got it. And Venus are setting. But if you've got these moonless nights like we have right now, the nebula above Sagittarius, I think I'm having the most fun with these days. So you've got the lagoon, which you can even see without a telescope, that's M8. You've got the Trifid, M, is that 20, maybe? You've got M16 and M17, so the Omega Nebula, the Eagle Nebula are good targets, just going up Sagittarius. M22, which is a globular cluster, north of Sagittarius, or right in Sagittarius. In Scorpius, you've got M4, which is a nice easy target, right next to Antares. You've got the wild duck cluster. Heather is paranoid of these rocks. You can see you like watching out. Yeah, that one's really hiding. In the summer triangle, you've got the coat hanger, which is, I think in stargazing charts, it's like Brioschi's cluster or something. M71 in Sagitta, the Dumbbell Nebula, M27 between Sagitta and Cygnus. You've got Albireo in Cygnus, which is the bottom star in the Northern Cross. That's a great one. Right above that in Lyra, you've got the Ring Nebula. Between the Ring Nebula and Albireo, you've got M95, which is another globular cluster. Straight up overhead, you've got M13, the Great Globular Cluster in Hercules. And heck, that'll keep you busy for most of the summer, really. And then you've still got the circumpolar targets, and the galaxies that are circumpolar are really high right now. So you've got around the Big Dipper, you've got M51 and M101, which are great. And then if you've got really dark skies and a really big telescope, you've got all the galaxies there around the Big Dipper to go and explore. There you go. I think there's your summer targets. That was pretty extensive. Someone with ChatGPT can probably just write a whole article. They'll get the transcript from this recording and it'll be in the news.
And they'll make a knockoff book with it.
Make a knockoff book. Yeah, guys, if you see knockoff books, so I know there's a knockoff 110 things to see with a telescope now. I'm not very impressed with that. And if you go and look at the screenshots, if you scroll down on the Amazon page, you can see that the author knows nothing about astronomy whatsoever. Like, they're not even labeling the parts of the telescope correct. But that book knocked us off the bestsellers chart, and it's completely fake. So, you know, if anyone wants to one-star review it, We wouldn't hate that. I think you may have to buy it first to make it certified legitimate, but I'm very not happy that these fake books are being purchased and giving people false information about the night sky. Even though they're ripped off of our books, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, c'est la vie. So we'll stay online for about 3 or 4 more minutes here, and then we should concentrate on getting this canoe back to shore. And we got to get back to the city.
Drop any more questions in the comments.
Yes, drop more questions in the comments. Get them in while you can.
You are an encyclopedia on a boat.
That's what we should have called this, Encyclopedia on a Boat. At least of Messier objects and beginner stargazing targets. Yep. Yeah, if you stayed up till 2 in the morning, you've got Andromeda Galaxy, you've got Alpha Persei cluster. This is in the autumn constellations. You've got the Pegasus clusters, M15 and M5, is that over there? M5 is the Rose cluster. I just found out Rose was not from the shape. Rose was like someone who popularized, it was his name, who popularized it as a stargazing target. I guess overhead you've got in Boötes, you've got M3. If you're looking at Arcturus, there's an asterism called Napoleon's Hat that you can check out. Yeah, so many targets.
And he says you could say there are more than 40 things to see in each season, but a lot of them are maybe a little less interesting.
Yeah, so there's a difference between the showstopper targets, which you would use at a stargazing event, and then the enthusiast targets, where you're checking things off a list. And so that's a good point. Like when we did 110 things to see with a telescope, that book is for enthusiasts. It's so that they can check seeing all the Messier objects off their bucket list. You know, so what we haven't done in a long time. Oh
no, you're good.
Yeah, what we haven't done in a long time, you know, is a book like 50 Things to See with a Telescope, which covers, you know, the best. It's all the targets in order of the best targets, not in order of ones that are on an official list. And yeah.
Another question. Do you think it's possible to photograph the Milky Way from a Bortle 6 desert city?
Yeah, so you can absolutely, I think you can photograph the Milky Way in almost any sky conditions. It's just a matter of, you have to get a lot more fancy with your gear. So your signal to noise is going to be a lot more challenging there. So you would have to take shorter exposures, and you have to take a lot of them and stack them all together to pull out the detail in the Milky Way. But yeah, so people can do it. You would just have to, someone on Google has done that, on the internet has done that, and you can pull out their camera settings and see if you can pull it off. Yeah, it is possible, but it's challenging because it's not gonna happen with a single exposure that I know of. You're gonna have to do multiple exposures. Yeah, we get through our questions?
Yeah, we're through our questions.
Okay, everyone, I think that was a nice, concise YouTube Live. And I think unless anyone has any final thoughts, we're gonna sign off and get this canoe out of the water and go back to the city and start editing our shorts.
Cool.
All right.
All right, see ya.
Cheers.